Hey everyone, this is Heather and this is going to be a quick introduction to our Bullseye tool. So right off the bat you can see that similar to how we have filters for other tools, we have filters here as well, where you can see a buy, sell, call, puts, and then we have some other filters on volume being greater than open interest, high confidence, high flow score. Then we have stock is equal to options expectation. I'll talk about it later on. Then we have non-expired ideas and non-zero profits. So similar to how we have sound alerts for live options flow, we also have sound alerts for Bullseye. So what you can do is, since these alerts keep on coming all day, you can just enable these sound alerts by clicking on it and making sure that this is green. And then if you keep the tab open for Bullseye, whenever a new alert comes in, you are going to get notified about the alert via an audio alert. So that's a really cool feature here as well. Let's actually dive into some of these alerts to see how to use these alerts. What are some of the good alerts? What are some of the bad alerts? What are some of the tips and tricks that you can use to make really good profits? So let's first go over some of these columns to explain what they mean. So first of all, we have a symbol, and then right next to the symbol there is a small icon. If you click on this icon, you are going to be taken to a dashboard that explains the alert and that sort of shows you a 15-minute chart of the alert and a few other things. We won't go into that dashboard today. That's another video for some other time. Then we have the stock expectation, and then we have the options contract, where you have the type and the trade side. So why do we have two things here? Why do we have the stock expectation and then we have an options contract alert? So the reason we have these two different things is sometimes an options contract can move in a positive or negative way, but the stock might move in a completely opposite direction. So a good example of this is short-term calls with high implied volatility. What happens most of the time is that if a contract has a very high volatility, then even if the price moves up by a decent amount, the contract might not move up by a large amount because of the high volatility. And as long as the stock price is not in accordance with the volatility, the options price might not move by a large amount. So sometimes if the volatility decreases because the stock price is not moving up by a large amount, which is again in accordance with the volatility, then the options price might actually decrease. So here is a case where the stock price is increasing but the options prices are going to decrease. And so that's why you see a stock expectation, and then you have a different options based expectation for the options contract as well. What we often want is we want these to be the same, but even if these are different, as long as you are doing some of your own research and due diligence, you should be completely fine. The next column is a flow score. So in the entire website, whenever you see these question mark icons, you can just hover over these and see what they mean. So the flow score is just a difference between today's flow versus the last 5 days flow. And the larger this score is, the better, because that means that the flow today is really different. Now that difference could either be that the flow today is not that good as compared to the last 5 days, or it could just mean that the flow today is really good. We don't know. We are just showing you the difference between the last 5 days flow versus today's flow. These values range from 0 to 100, so anything above 20 to 30 is a really good value. Then we have the confidence score for this entire alert, and then we have some details about the options contract. We have the exact stock price at the time of this alert. We have the strike price, the expiration, the volume, open interest, premiums. The last three columns are interesting because these columns are updated every 30 minutes and they show you the change in the contract price that you can find here. So the 220 expiration, the 220 strike and the May expiration, this alert, once it's posted, it's going to get updated every 30 minutes, and these numbers in the last three columns are going to change to show you how the alert is doing. If we go down, we can see that we had some positive alerts today. This one was a really good one. This is again GME. This went up about 87%. Then we have some bad ones as well, and then again this was a really good one as well. This went up about 213%, which is a huge increase in options price. And then we have some small winners, and then again some very large winners, 92%, 33%, etc. So these columns are there to show you how the alerts are working. So just keep an eye on these to get an idea of how the tool works and how accurate it is. Now that we understand what the table is about and what are some of these columns, let's actually dive into some of these alerts to see whether we should have gone into these, or whether we should have waited, or what would be a good entry or exit for these alerts. So as with other tools, since this is a trade idea generation tool, you always want to spend just a little bit of time doing your own research and due diligence so that you can make sure that the setups that you are going into are really profitable. Again, the tools are about 60 to 70% accurate, which means there are going to be 30% of the alerts that are incorrect. So you need to reduce that 30% amount by adding your own research and due diligence to make sure that you're not incurring lots of losses. So let's quickly go over some of these alerts now. So I haven't gone over any of these alerts before this video, so we are actually going to go through some of these symbols live. So let's see what happens. So the first we have a Baidu alert. This came in today actually. So let's quickly go to the stocks dashboard and see how the chart is looking. So again, since these are intraday alerts and they're expected to pan out within 1 to 2 days, we sometimes want to use the daily chart, but most of the time we want to use the intraday chart. So the way you can look at the intraday chart is you just click on this, and then let's say we look at the 15-minute chart. On the 15-minute chart, we see that this is a bullish alert and it's asking us to buy a call. The confidence score is not that high here, but since just for the purpose of showing you how to go into these trade ideas, we are still going to look into this. So on the 15-minute chart, let's see if we can find some good support and resistance lines so that we know where to enter and where to exit. So let's see. So we have one support line here because we can see that the price touched it here, then it touched it here, and then it went above it. And we have a really good resistance line here. So this is a really good one because you can see if we extend this here, you can see that the price actually touched this line multiple times here, here, and now it went down. And then this is the resistance. So support and resistance lines are just one way to find really good entries and exits, and that's what we are talking about here. But there are so many other methods you can get entries and exits based on technical indicators if you are really into technical analysis. So you have RSI here. You can wait till the RSI falls below 20, let's say, to buy, and then if it goes above 80 you sell. Or you can use MACD, or you can use any of our other technical indicators that you can find here. But just for the purpose of simplicity, we are only going to talk about support and resistance lines because that's a really simple way to get really good entries and exits. We can now see here that we have two lines. We have a resistance line and we have a support line. But right now the price is somewhere in the middle of the support and resistance line, and that's never a good entry. So what you want to do is you always want to wait till the price hits one of these levels. If we have a call alert, then we want the price to hit a support level and then starts going up again. So what would be ideal here is we are going to wait till the price hits this level about 208, and then once it hits it and starts going back, that's our entry for the Baidu alert. And when are we going to exit? We are going to exit when the price reaches this 217 or 280 level. So that's about a $7 to $8 increase in the stock price, which might be a very large increase in the options contract price. There might be some other resistance levels. So let's say you enter here, you can see that there is this resistance level as well. So if you are more careful and you just want to get out with partial profits, you might just want to exit here. You can also use moving averages to find out good entry and exit points. So let's see if we can do that here. So the stock was going in a downtrend, and we can see that we have this trend line here. This trend line is acting as a resistance, and we can see that both of the moving averages, the 20 and 50 EMAs, are both in a downward trend. But here at this very point, we can see that the moving averages crossed over, and the slope of the moving averages is now positive. So around this area you could have entered as well, and that would have been a really good entry as well. So there are tons of ways to enter into an intraday alert. We just discussed two of these. We are going to create more videos and webinars that are going to go deep into what are some other ways that you can enter and exit on intraday trade ideas. But I just wanted to give you some examples on how do you want to enter into these alerts. You shouldn't just enter blindly when an alert comes in. You don't even look at a chart and you enter. That's just a recipe for disaster, because that never works. You always want to increase your reward to risk ratio such that it's the maximum that's possible right now, and the maximum that's possible is if you buy on a really good support level, or on using some other criteria that you have that you think is really good, and then you sell based on some criteria that you have. Again, in our case, sell on a resistance level. So again, don't just go in blindly into any of these trade ideas. Always spend just a little bit time. 5-10 minutes is usually enough, going over the price action. 15-30 minutes, let's say, chart, and that is going to give you a really strong signal on what you need to do next in order to make this alert work really well. So we have gone over this. Let's see if we can go over the C1 now. So I believe this is Citibank. Let's see, Citigroup actually. And let's see, this is a call alert as well. So we can see that on the daily chart, this actually looks really good on the daily chart as well. We are right on a resistance level right now, and we have a support here. So we have the 50 moving average support, we have the 20 moving average support, and we have the anchored VWAP support. So there are three support levels right below the current price, and this is just daily chart right now. So that's our first signal. That tells us that there are support regions beneath the current price. So even if we enter now, we might find support right below the current price, which means that there is a higher chance that we are going to go up. But another safe way to enter this alert would be to just wait until we actually break this resistance level. So this, once we break this 74 level, 74-75 level, there is no resistance above until this level. So that is a very large gap between the current resistance and between the current resistance level and the next resistance level, and that is what you want to exploit. Let's say we break this level and we keep going up, and then we stop at this level. Now that's a very large increase in the stock price, and that is going to translate to hundreds of percents of increase in the options price, and that's what you want. You want to maximize your reward to risk. So that's how we can go into this alert. Let's see the intraday chart. On the intraday chart, again, you can see that we have this long-term resistance level that we keep respecting. So we have not gone above this level right now. So that's why you might want to wait until we cross this level before going into this alert. The reason I said we have the support level is you can see that there are plenty of support levels as well here. So all of these price candles actually touched this support level and then went up. This was where we broke the support level, but now we are above it again. So this support level might hold up again. So again, that's just one example. Again, for this alert, since this was posted today, about 15 minutes before market close, you need to wait before we actually break the resistance, and then you go in. Let's actually look at one more alert from yesterday to see if we could have found a really good entry. So let's find a good one. So we have GSX. Yeah, GSX went up about 192%. So let's see if we could have gotten some of those nice 192% profits. And this was a call alert, so we are going to get the 15-minute chart. You can see that again, this is very similar to Baidu, where we have this long-term downtrend, and the moving averages have a negative slope, they are facing downwards. But right around here you can see that we broke this level, we broke this downtrend, and now the moving averages, both of them, the 20 and 50 moving averages, are facing upwards. So that could have been one of your entries. Now this is actually April 16 and the alert came in April 27, so obviously this is before the alert, but I'm just trying to show you how to find really good entries before you sort of go into an alert. Let's see if you could have found anything from the last 2 or 3 days. So the alert came on April 27, so this is all April 27. What you could have done is, since this is a resistance level and then we have a support level here, about here, yeah, not a really strong support level, but still we have a support level here. You can see that what you could have done is you could have bought here because we had a strong resistance. The next day we opened on 28, we actually just crossed that resistance right away and we opened higher than the previous day's close. So this would be your entry because now we have broken the resistance. Now some people believe that if there are gaps then you shouldn't enter, and that's a totally valid point. You'll actually see that here we went up, so this would be your all your profit taking. And when we start to go down, let's say we break this 20 moving average, now that could be a potentially that could be a potential exit signal. You exit. So from this to this point would be your contract, and you can see that since we had a gap here, we have actually filled that gap, and now that gap is acting as a support again. So if you want to enter, you could have entered here as well, because this is a support level. We touched the support level, we filled the gap, and now there is more chance that we are going to go up from here. So you can see that we are still staying above the support. We might go up in the next few days. Let's see if we can find something else as well. I really want to show you a few alerts to make sure that you're comfortable going into these alerts and finding entries and exits on your own. So we have an SQ alert for buy call, and this came in on April 28th. So let's see if we could have done something here. All right, so April 28th. So this doesn't seem like there is anything on the chart, because you can see that we have a resistance level here, and then we have a support level right here. Okay, right here. So even if you want to enter, you need to wait till we hit the support level. You cannot enter on any of these candles. Let's see something else. Alright, we have Google, we have Riot, we have Clove. So Clove was good. Let me show it to you. Clove was something that we went in, so I think this might be a good one. So for Clove, we have a buy call alert, and this was again April 28th, and so this is April 28th. And let's see the 15-minute chart. So April 28th, an excellent entry right away would be this level, because you can see that this was a strong resistance level, and right here we crossed that level. So now that we have crossed a resistance level, that level becomes a support, and that's our entry. Like, that's a really good entry. And whenever you find these supports or resistance levels being broken, that's a breakout, so you can enter there. So if you could have entered here, then you'll just ride this entire wave up, and then the price is still at the same level. So you are either just breaking even, or you could have gotten pretty decent profits in this entire trend up. So that's how you can find decent entries and exits, just based on support and resistance levels. Obviously, again, there are a lot more ways of finding these levels, or of using other tools and techniques. We'll talk about those in some other videos, but I just wanted to go over some charts with you to show you how you can look at a trade idea from Bullseye, then go to the intraday chart and figure out where would be a really good entry or exit be. And so that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.